Hi guys, Razor here. Today I want to go through my league starter for 324 Acropolis. This will be the Ball Lightning of Orbiting Elementalist. Yes, I'm doing it slightly different. Last week or week and a half ago I started uploading some videos of my idea, and it was to do it more on Elementalist, like for two reasons. As I wanted the guaranteed shocks to use in Pulsar, making it more of a clear build, mapper build starting off and have that nice feel to it. And of course, like playing d4, I just kind of wanted to make the Ball Lightning swap since I saw the new gem, because it's kind of in the same fantasy, if I put it that way. So what we will do with this build basically is start to level with Arc. I've put in the trees for you guys, anyone want to follow, from Act 1 through to Act 10. Then around about level 85 when we're in maps, I'll kind of aim for level 92, 3, maybe just with 1 or 2 duels, and then kind of the end game. I say end game, but a good avenue to scale with a cluster and so on. I'm grabbing some extra nodes from our ascendancy, and then later maybe crit could be an option. There is some other contact creators that is going the crit route later as well. I think as a starter I want to try to keep the budget low and try to craft my items myself, so I might just stay Elemental Overload and maybe play something else for a second build, but I might get the feeling to push it further, and then we might go the crit route. Because I want to be a very comfortable mapper. You'll see in my POB I stay at this bottom end, which is normally popular, grabbing the mana nodes, but making sure I've got Mage Bane, reflexes, getting the mastery for suppression, because I want 100% suppression. I want an agnostic build where my regen is almost infinite, so if we don't get one shot we just regen it back, so we don't have to struggle to get leech and so everywhere, although it is still good. And then we also travel to these nodes to get that suppression and leafy shade, which would then help us. I'm also building it with not the offensive aura, and one of the reasons is because we have the lightning golem that has a smaller wrath aura. We do get a benefit of that already, although it is not as good as the full aura you can equip, but it's like 50% of that damage that you get. So I'm just gonna full on put Purity of Elements on, and I'll show you some max raise trick you can also do here at the bottom fort where there is a jewel. So we'll be elemental element immune right from leveling. We've got some help getting our resistances up, and I just think that's maybe a more tanky, comfortable way to scale it, because with the orbiting gem we have to stay close, we can't stay far, we have to be on top of our enemies, so our defensive structures there will be very important. So first off, from Act 1, we'll just do the normal, take the spell damage nodes. We're going to Lightning Walker, because I will just level with lightning skills. At the start you can use whatever you want, Magna Orb, Freezing Pulse, even Lightning Tendrils. I actually used Lightning Tendrils past Brutus and that it felt okay. I mean, it didn't really matter. But I do think the main skill that we will use then is Arc. I tried Stormbrand through Act 1, Act 2, and that cast speed penalty it has now, you can definitely like feel it immediately. Arc just feels way better, so I would say we just try to get the gems in this kind of order. It will be Arc, Arcane Sage, added lightning damage, and only go to Archmage late in your leveling past Lab 1, even Lab 2. You don't have to do it too early, because on League Starter we're not going to have as many mana items. So I did have some stuff like maybe a Praxis Ring and a Foible, because it's just cheap to do it, but at League Start we won't. So just keep an eye out, and you just keep added lightning damage, and it gives you a good chunk, and it's going to be better at the start than Archmage that will also cost you more mana. And if you ever get a 5 link in that, then Slow Projectiles will be your 5th one, and you can look at this kind of order. Your second skill will be Orb of Storms with Overcharge, so you'll use the Overcharge to proc shocks until you get the Shape of Storms, which I think is the second lab. I'll check now. And then Power Charge and Critical. It's quite nice to try to proc your elemental overloads by giving yourself power charges and then letting your arc crit more consistently. Then we're going for Clarity on Arrogance, and I'm just gonna straight from the start level this up full the whole time and use Arrogance as soon as you get it, just to get mana back, so we don't have to worry, and we'll have a mana flask as a backup. Lightning Warp, you can kind of level it along in your offhand. You can use it to skip some parts if you know how to do it, but yeah, Frostwing, Flame Dash, whatever you choose, even Shield Charge, doesn't matter. Utility skills will be Arcane Cloak, Conductivity, Wave of Conviction, and Sigil of Power. You can grab them as you get them through the axe. Level up Arcane Cloak if you don't have a lot of mana, won't do too much at the start, but Conductivity and Wave of Conviction the most important, and Sigil of Power is a nice defensive boost. And then only one big aura we'll have is Purity of Elements, and I'll also immediately put it in Eternal Blessing as soon as I get it. Items you can go for will be just spell damage, lightning damage to spell, +1 to lightning, and mana wherever you can get it. So you're not maybe going to get a wand like this. This is just an example of the two kind of wands you want to equip. You can either have Scepter of Wands, but look for these kind of mods in your item. Then we'll go mostly with armor, evasion, gear, so that we can later just craft suppression or even land suppression wherever we can. So again, you're going to look for mana, life, resistances. Mana, life, resistances, suppression, whatever. This is just very basic armor, whatever it's got. Obviously movement speed on boots is nice, and just craft mana on if it's got an open prefix. Then look for polar amulets for mana regeneration, and again just mana, regen, raise wherever. Resistance ring, same thing, life, mana, resistance, like the basic stuff you almost always use, except in this build you add mana to everything. Heavy belt, same thing, life, resistance, mana. Try to get a heavy belt because you do have a strength requirement, and some of this, the gems, especially like we use golems, so your stone golem does have it. The top also I've marked in the tree, so as we move on, you can take the stats or the items at level 92 and 99 for your gems, and the same with the items what we will look for. Leveling, I would quickly just swap it here just to show. So one of the things I use is a reverberation rod. Sorry, it's a lot of and our South Africans can't say that. This is an excellent item for leveling ball, lightning, arc, or anything. It's basically a pseudo 6-link. Gives you spell echo, arcane surge, control destruction, which is why if you get some power charges, it will help just proc the elemental overload, because obviously that brings your crit right down. But anyway, you got a 6-link, so you got loads of damage, and then you link your ball, lightning, or arc in with inspiration to lower the mana cost and give you increased damage, and then added lightning or archmage if you have enough mana and you want to swap to that. Try to find, I would say, these three as soon as you can, or buy them if you're going to do a little bit of heist to make currency. This is not how to make currency, it's up to yourself on league start and when you start and how you play, but the Xeri's foil will be very good. I allocated quick step will be the first one I take, which is down here, which is just movement speed and suppression. It's super cheap, it's super good, it will help you get capped quite quickly. Then look for dream fragments for all the mana regen. Cannot freeze, doesn't really matter because we're using an aura, but a lot of mana, and the same with Kikizaro, which is also quite nice because it's got 30% mana regen, and then actually some life regen with the 60% reduced effect of curses. So actually use this way deep in, because you'll later take this nodes here for chaos resistance, which also gives you reduced effect of curses. So you basically you'll be curse immune, put it that way, while they have that drink. And then this might be a bit of expensive later on Ranis, but it does give us some life leech. But you later anyway want a heavy belt with a lot of mana on. So this is an option if you don't want to think about it. You can throw it on. I use it. It's nice. Same as a Xeri step. It's an easy option with a lot of spell suppression, movement speed, life. Doesn't have mana on, so you can craft something better. But you got normally about 30C on league start. You can buy this or go farm it if you want to. It's just excellent mobility, and with a couple of items like a rare glove, boots, that step, and the way we do our tree, you'll be suppression capped quite easily. So let's leave that there quickly and put to leveling. And then in the tree, I'll just take through. So by Act 2, you want to move down and take some more of the life nodes with the extra life. And then this mastery you can leave till later. I just put it in immediately, but increase and reductions to maximum mana gives you increased shock effect. So this is great. It just causes us to have maximum shock with Archmage on all enemies. And then we move to Act 3. We'll move down and grab Elemental Overload, and then immediately start scaling some mana and mana recovery. Just makes it comfortable for leveling. You just get increased mana regen and mana, and you can just cast your arc the whole time. This is a nice note here that I actually forgot about. In a previous build, I actually used this with a duel, and I saw Palstron had it, and it's awesome because we're gonna always crit when we have a trigger wand later, and when you manually crit, you'll recover life and mana. So actually, you don't have to maybe take it this early, because I would say only take it when you can start automating a curse. You can maybe leave that later, but yeah, anyone you cursed from Act 2, you pick up your curse, I think, or was it Act 3? Act 3, yeah. And then yeah, when you've cursed packs of monsters and you kill them, you just recover your life and mana easy as well. And of course, you can drop something like a Mark of Submission and use that in place of a Kikizaro. which might even be something I do before you have a trigger one, just to have conductivity up the whole time, and then this node is excellent. So that's a little trick you can do. Act 4 we'll go up and get some more lightning damage here, and we get a jewel socket, and this jewel socket at the start you can use for anything you want. Resistances, increase mana, increase life. Later we'll put a healthy mind there. Then around about Act 5, after we did lab, we will grab Golem Commander. We'll probably do lab and start Act 4 already, but anyway, just try to have it about the same time. Then you can suddenly have 3 golems, and the first 3 you want to equip. I'll change the skills to this one so that I can show you. You want your stone golem, chaos golem, lightning golem. That's the 3 you want at the start. Stone first, then chaos and lightning. So just nice mitigation, and lightning is cast speed. And then you can link a culling strike to them, so, or any of them depending how your socket is. And because of the node, they can't really die, and you have excellent cull on enemies the whole time, because Leech of the Primordial makes them just be resummoned. So they're basically always up, you never have to ever recast them again. Then we go through to Act 6, we just take some more mana regen, and we start moving down, take some more life here, and we then have Mind over Matter, and our tankiness will boom there, especially if you start having a nice juicy amount of mana on your gear. Act 7, take more mana regen. This is increases the cost of spells, but it is for that juicy 30% increase maximum mana, so it's worth it. We're going to reduce cost here and on other places, so it's fine. Quite strong node here for damage and elemental resistance, and even more mana regen, life regen, 1% basis, quite a lot. And then we'll move through here. This node we take later. It's a good amount of damage, but to start we don't have a lot of strength. It doesn't do too much yet. If we move at the top, no, we didn't move there. So then we go on Act 8. We just move around. Yeah, this stage is going to move around. I'm not going to take this yet, so this is quite good because it gives us recoup. That node's also very good because it's flat and mana. You can obviously play around and take resistances here if you do need it while leveling. Go on and take more health here. At the start we do want to pump more health, and then later when we have a bigger pool we'll start I'm going to say spec out of a bit of life to take more other nodes. Then by about round 10 we'll unspec these starter nodes we had here, and we start moving around to try to get the suppression wheels. It would be nice if we have these nodes, even maybe the mastery and this when we get to maps. So you can make choices here if you want to leave like this node out for now, leave some of this, it's up to you, or even that, it depends how your region is. There's a lucky node there that we also take, and this one if we have evasion, here, boots, armor, gloves and helm, then we've got a plus 15 chance to suppress it. It's very strong. And then our target, go through maps, finish that level 85. It will be around about those gears, so that's fine. So we'll take the 92 gears. So by that time we want our rod. If you can pick up Impulsor, try to do it as quick as you can. It's not especially rare. It doesn't have to be 6 linked, because you can go right into red map with a reverberation rod. That's our pseudo 6 link. I set it up like that into the 90s so you can clear. And the Impulsor will do all the base clearing for you, and you start scaling. You can see at level 92 there with the skills, and this is the 85 tree where he's sitting at 2.3 million damage. This is before the jewels, right? So you have to start taking iron wool. Here we started taking some chaos rest, corrupted blood immune. So we're taking care of the tanky stuff first, and then the 92 is where we up a little bit into the damage stakes, where we get our healthy mind. We convert all this to extra mana. Try to find inspired learning or natural instinct. Sorry, that is normally about 3 to 6 stuff. It depends on leagues. It might be more expensive thinking about it, but you can see this is quite a juicy amount of damage it gives. So we can be up to 6 million DPS. This is now with your arcane cloak and everything on. So let's say that you're around 3.5 to 4 million, maybe in normal situations. And if you have everything up against bosses, this is non-boss, so this will drop to about 4.5, 4.5 if you do Shaper. And that's very respectable. This is not having a 6-link chest. This is just with the rod and the gear we have. You can see here we've got in the trigger weapon, which is here. Just try to get like lightning damage. This is quite a strong weapon though, but even if you're half the damage, it doesn't matter because they use the same one in the endgame. Try to get damage to spells, spell damage, mana. You want flat mana, so crafted with mana essences. Try to hit either lightning damage to spells +1 or spell damage. Craft the trigger, and that's it. Conductivity, Wave of Conviction, Blood Rage. You can remove Wave of Conviction as soon as you do get trigger gloves. I think I'm using them here already. So you want to get lightning exposure on hit, and you want to get unnerve, which is even more damage on the enemy. Then you can drop the Wave of Conviction out here, and then later we'll go to a second curse. I'll show it now. And then Blood Rage, that's just for non-frenzies when mapping and so on. Still just the rod, see, that's it, that's all. In the helmet, arcane cloak, duration. I don't have the call to arms one here, but that will proc enduring cry for us, which is even more regen and quite good sustain and uptime for endurance charges, which will give us physical damage reduction, which is the one thing in this build we have to fight all the time. That's why we're scaling the golems to get from the chaos golem. Yeah, we already get what is that, Max seat, it said somewhere, no, I can't remember, but gives you physical damage reduction somewhere between 20 and 25%. Golems and just the culling strike needs to be linked. Clarity, same auras, purity and clarity. And lightning warp, this is just for mobility. So then I swapped out later, whenever you got the gems and you can buy them, go lightning warp, less duration, faster pass with affliction. What I do want to test out later is I did later drop this clarity, but you can, wherever you make 2 sockets, but this is a good place where you can put in a cast on death portal if you want to, and you just want to like throw your head at content. But also Frostblink of wintry, what is it, burst or whatever. I also saw one or two creators using that with faster casting, and although it does have a bit of a cast time, like 0.75 I think, but with faster casting it seemed like very close to the speed of lightning. Well, not quite as fast when all these gems are qualied and that, but then we score 2 sockets, so we can do other things with that, and maybe that is actually a nice mapping option. Then if we go our last one, we will go to our cluster jewel at the top, where we have prismatic heart, scintillating idea, and this is the 2 you want in the bottom, so try to find one with widespread destruction at the top. And then I've got my 2 forbidden flame and forbidden flesh jewels in here to grab the heart of destruction, so that we can get the convergence, so the big AoE when clearing, and the extra damage, boss damage, 30% more elemental damage when we're doing our single target. Now the little trick here you can remember is this one might be quite expensive, it normally is, but you can actually either buy Shape of Storms or Elementalist, right? You'll just miss out on the small node, which isn't really a big deal, the same as here that we miss out, so it's exactly the same thing. And check which one of these 3 is the cheaper and spec into the other one. And sometimes, like if this isn't popular, there's a lot of them in the market, maybe it costs you 8 diff for the pair or something, instead of this might cost you 40 or 30 diff. So just have a look at that. So as soon as we have the Impulsor, just remember you can take the Shocks and Flex spread to enemies. This is quite important because we do want on our let's change this quickly. We do want on our gloves to have the exposure, but also the unnerve. It's the only place you can get it as an implicit, and it's also quite a bit of additional damage. I think it's 10% more damage on there. Then on the top, as soon as you can afford it, get a healthy mind there. And like I said, a natural instinct. This is also quite a lot of mana we get here from this node. I wonder if it says 800, almost 850 mana and 134 regen. We'll then anoint Whispers of Doom on our amulet, and I just took some extra nodes here to get suppression scapped because of the gear I took. I'll show you now with the boot swap. And here we've got a Sublime Vision. So the Sublime Vision jewels boost up when you only use one aura, which we are doing, and we're using Purity Elements, and this one is the +3 to maximum elemental resistances, which I think is underutilized. This is actually pretty good, especially that we're not going to get much more max res anywhere else. No, I didn't take something off now. So I think that is pretty good. You also have here the option to go reduced reflected elemental damage taken if you want to do content like that, and then just change your pantheon. So then we swapped out the wave for elemental weakness for the double curse with the blood rage still on the trigger one. Then you have to move your golems around. So I've got stone, lightning and culling in here because When we drop the rod, we go to the 6-link chest. So this time I still have the 6-link impulsor, but when you're gonna boss in that, best for defenses is a lightning coil, so that we can convert even more of our physical damage to lightning damage. And you can look one for with a corruption +1 or +2, or even just flat increase lightning damage is quite good, because we've got so much, or not flat, increased, like 30-40% increased lightning damage. Spell damage is good because we do get all our flat from Archmage, so we don't really need more flat there. You can use a cloak, but don't know if it's better. It's going to give you a lot of sustain with the agnostic, but I would probably think just between Impulsor and Lightning Coil would be the best option. I'm going to use the Dawnbreaker Shield. That will be the first one to convert our Fizz, and then on our helmet we'll have 6% Fizz taken as lightning converted. There's a mod you can, I think, craft on it as well, but you can see if you can fit everything in. But you, number one, want spell suppression, mana, life, and then resistances. On the gloves, same thing, mana, life, spell suppression. You need to find one dexterity roll somewhere on your gear, so this is an option. I didn't do my rings. We can get and craft better rings and replace these. Maybe not the dream fragments, but at least Bizarro. So get maybe there's a mana ring or a Pala ring, or you can even get a amethyst ring for chaos resistance, which I might do at the start and then craft it with and get mana and life and so on. Then you can leave this. We don't really need the regen anymore because we're agnostic. And the least effective curses with the tree, we still have 40, and then we can just use one flask suffix to get a bit more, so that would be comfortable enough while mapping. Still use the foible, just changes to Whispers of Doom. You can craft something better, but I don't know if I'll even worry. The heavy belt, you can use that Dorianis for a while if you want, but a better and DPS option would be something like this with double mana on. So you want the mana on, and then you want to unveil the mana and regen life. So this might take a couple of tries, and then you pray you maybe hit some kind of flask mod or chaos race or something. Doesn't matter, you can just craft any resistance after it. So you want to hit mana, life, unveil, try to hit mana and regen. Then the trick of the agnostic, because you guys probably saw that I did not go to the node here, right? So there's an unupgraded pair of boots that drops from Alva in the temple, which is Dance of the Offer. So normally people always in mana builds tried or wanted to use a Mayokan for various reasons. But in this one, with the Onslaught and wanting more speed, cast speed for Bolt Lightning, we will have Onslaught while not on low mana. We get agnostic, so we save a lot of travel points. And this boots actually have, you know, flat mana roll on, so, and one res roll. It's not bad. It's not bad. We can even hunt for corruptions on it as well. So I think this is a pretty good option. And I mean, I found a lot of them last league because I did temples and anyway, so this is not difficult to find. It won't be expensive. I don't think a lot of people know what actually flippin' nice utility it gives to get Onslaught and agnostic without traveling. So if you want to stack mana, so that is how we do it in the later game. When you've got enough mana on, and you've got, I would say in the region, what is our mana here? 7. Yeah, I would say anything from 6,000 probably up. Then you can start going agnostic, so you have a nice regen of your life pool as well. And then you have to drop the clarity setup anyway. Flask, just a mana flask with corrupting blood, and then we want the elemental flask, taste of fate, ruby flask, maybe with armor and evasion. Like I said, one of them you can swap. You can swap the armor to the curse roll if you want to go that way to be more curse immune, because we are converting a lot of our fizz taken. So we don't really have a lot of armor. We've got like, I don't know, 4,000. Yeah. And we got some evasion is nice, so I'd rather leave the evasion, then at least when mapping it feels a bit smoother. And then an amethyst flask is quite difficult to get to capping that, so the amethyst I'll probably just run on trigger when poison, because we're also not poison immune. And then we've got some extra poison race close to cap with that up 71. There's options to maybe later drop the purity if you see with the flask up. Now I think we're not, yeah, so it looks a bit higher, but it's because of the flask. But you can maybe go the determination route, but I think for being ailment immune as well with one aura and getting +3 max raise, it takes us with flask up to 83 with very little investment. One jewel and the 3 flasks up. Try to get the duration roll on all of them and get quality on. And then while mapping, they should be on most of the time. We've got 12 seconds out of there, you know, 9, 12. It's only taste it doesn't have. And when mapping, you can probably craft use at the end of effect. So if you map fast, these three will just be up permanently, and you should be very, very, very tanky. Tanky enough for that content. Yeah, I think I'll stop here. That the tree's got everything in. I'll put it in the video. And yeah, maybe when I'm in late game and I've got 100 divines or whatever rolling in currency, then we can look at scaling that to even more damage. But we're sitting at 60 million with our buffs up. You know, that's pretty comfortable. If you want to see the boss DPS, let's say pinnacle boss, almost 12.5, that's way enough in my opinion. Killed bosses with like a third of that or a quarter of that, so it's not really an issue, and I think that should be enough for the content, and we can play kind of bold and fantasy we like. Guys, enjoy the league. I hope you have a blast at the time. I'll talk to my friends, everyone in Discord, and have some laughs and have some drinks, and hope you have an awesome time. See ya later.